Ladies and gentlemen, it is a singular honor and privilege for me to stand in front of you to welcome you to this conference in Nairobi, gathering 45 delegates from 29 exchanges across the continent of Africa. Before His Excellency came, I had my iPad and I was going to read my official statement, but His Excellency has a very limited time, and we have to respect that time. Your Excellency, I think your Pan-African credentials are not in doubt. I know that you learned late last night about this event, and the fact that you have chosen to amend your program to fit us in is a great honor for us, and we are very grateful for that. Your Excellency, over the next 2 days, the delegates here will be having broad conversations about the challenges that face the capital markets and the galvanization of capital in the continent of Africa. Among the conversations, Your Excellency, will be the climate change conversation, and this is very timely, coming only 2 weeks before the COP conference, where Kenya will be leading the African statement from the private sector. Your Excellency, we will be having those conversations. How we can help governments mobilize funds, how we can help the private sector mobilize funds, and indeed, how we can alleviate poverty from our people. Our continent contains many resources that make us unique and singular in the global equation. By the year 2050, the population of our continent will be larger than that of India and China combined. The GDP of this continent, the untapped resources. And I think if we cannot find African solutions to African problems, then for sure we are headed in the wrong direction. So, Your Excellency, we are so honored that you could be here today to give us guidance insofar as how these conversations should be formed, to give us your thoughts in terms of what we should be doing. I will not say more than that, and I just said yesterday to the delegates that the conversation around where the cradle of mankind was long settled. So I said to the delegates, welcome home. And with those few remarks, it is now my honor to invite the president of ASEA, Mr. Tapelo Selo, who is also the CEO of the Botswana Stock Exchange. Welcome, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman. Your Excellency, President Ruto, most of us see you on television talking about the African agenda. So we really appreciate. All distinguished guests here, for the sake of time, I will stand on the protocol already established, as they say in Nigeria. All former presidents of ASEA, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to the ASEA annual conference hosted here in Nairobi at the gesture of the chairman of Nairobi Stock Exchange and our lovely CEO, Jeff Odondo. Mr. President, it is worth noting that this conference was initially not supposed to be here. It was supposed to have been held in Egypt, but because of logistical problems, we had to request the Nairobi Stock Exchange to put it together in less than a month. It was not a hard choice for us or a hard request for us, because we know whenever we don't have a host, Nairobi is always there to welcome us. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, we are very glad to be in Nairobi, Kenya. We have been welcomed very well. Some of us here don't need any welcome. I've been here 5 times this year, so I deserve a permanent residency to be always here. I will not dwell much of the written speech, Your Excellency, but just take time to really appreciate the work that you are doing for the Kenyan capital markets. We have been informed that you have visited the exchange several times, which is actually a great thing for capital markets in Nairobi. And also, we know that you are taking your time out of a very busy schedule to make time for this African markets initiatives. I will also take this opportunity to really thank all of you who have taken that time from all exchanges across the African region. There are 26 exchanges, $2 trillion US, more than 2,000 listed entities, and therefore these are astronomical numbers that really appreciate the work that the Kenyan people have done to host us at the last minute. The African Stock Exchanges Association have got many successes, which I will not mention here for the sake of time. But let me take this opportunity to really appreciate your presence, Your Excellency, President Ruto, Chairman, all the distinguished guests here, all the Kenyan people. Karibu Nairobi. I didn't know what it means until I told yesterday. I just said, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity also to really thank the work that has been done by retiring CEOs. And especially, I want us to all put our hands together, celebrate a man who have served the Nairobian market for the past 8 years. What a man, what a very great man, what a good man, Jeff Odondo. Jeff have served the Nairobian or the Kenyan capital markets for 8 years, and especially the Secretariat. Jeff is in charge of the Secretariat for African Securities Exchange, and he coordinates all the activities that we have across the African markets. He did not only dedicate his 8 years of service to Nairobi, but he also dedicated his 8 years of service to saving a larger continent market and also pushing the African agenda. And I know, Mr. President, coming from Botswana, I also served the market in Botswana very well. After 2 years in office, after a lot of service to the community, I was given the Presidential Order of Meritorious Service. And I know very well in Nigeria, our dear friend here, former President Oscar Wanyama, was also given a national award in Nigeria. Former President Edu was given a national honor in Togo. I'm not hinting anything, Mr. President. All what I'm saying is that on our behalf as African stock exchanges, Jeff have done a very good work, not only for Kenya, and also for all of us here. And as Jeff retires, we really want to thank him for his dedicated service. It is not easy to serve all these exchanges. Some of these economies are big, some are small, and all of us looked into Jeff to put us together, and he successfully managed to do that for the past 2 years. We wish you success, Jeff, in your office, and we know that the Kenyan people will not let those good brains go to waste. And therefore, we can rest assured that in one way or the other, you will play a role for the Kenyan people. With that, Your Excellency President Ruto, I thank you, and we have a good day.
Much, and once again, let's appreciate the President ASEA for those remarks. Your Excellency, at this particular time, I want to request our Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Planning, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, to kindly come and give his remarks. A round of applause to the Cabinet Secretary as he comes.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto. I'm very happy that you managed to get some time in that busy schedule. We are very sorry that we had to ambush you this morning, but I do believe that it is for a good cause. Dear guests, distinguished guests, let me thank His Excellency for finding time to grace this occasion. It also demonstrates the government's commitment to support the capital markets and the financial sector development in general. It's also coincidental, Your Excellency, that I was going to meet the market tomorrow. We have had several dates that we programmed, but time was not there. But tomorrow we are meeting, And we want to actually to reflect in terms of where we are coming from and where we should be going. So I'm very happy about this coincidence that the issues that we raise today could be an input in terms of what we're going to do tomorrow and even the future structure of our markets. This is an important occasion for the capital markets, particularly stock exchanges across the African continent, to take stock of recent developments, including performance, opportunities, emerging issues, and even challenges that require concerted efforts to address. This year's conference theme is Unlocking Africa's Stock Exchange Potential for Sustained Economic Development, but it is also indeed important from frontier markets in Africa that are facing very serious challenges and how we need to tame them. The sustained prosperity of a nation is closely linked to the creation of an enduring, competitive, and even stable financial system that provide an opportunity to mobilize financial resources and deploy them in productive investment and even sectors. The role of government is to create a conducive environment to increase the opportunities for borrowers, savers, investors, and be part of the development discourse, and also make sure that they can appropriate returns from their own investment. Because as soon as investors cannot appropriate returns from their own investment, that is, they are consumed by cost structures, then they stop investing. A majority of African stock exchanges face structural hurdles to growth, and they are struggling with liquidity and also considerable minimal participation by retail investors. We have to rethink structure given the digital age, and we need to think about that in terms of how we are going to contain the process. The initial public offering IPO landscape in Africa further confirms that the challenges that our stock markets face are quite immense. The pipeline of IPOs and even further offerings in Africa has decreased significantly. It is against this background that we need to deliberate on how to solve the legacy and emerging challenges facing stock markets in the continent, and even explore opportunities to reestablish the competitive edge of public capital markets as an avenue of raising capital in Africa. I'm grateful to the African Securities Exchanges Association, ASEA, ladies and gentlemen, because they champion the digital transformation that we are all looking forward to. And this is going to improve market condition and even accessibility and transparency. In this ever-evolving world of finance, even where we have challenges entering the international financial markets, we do believe that our markets are the lifeblood of our economic and even our own role in terms of shaping the future. And that responsibility is profound. It is important for us to rethink strategy, to rethink the innovative ways of getting there. The African capital markets are, as a collective entity, important in terms of playing a vital role to fostering economic vibrancy and promote regional integration. With these few remarks, because time is not on our side, and I can see there is a whole set of seats here for a panel discussion, which I believe is going to be rich. Let me say that I join the ASEA in terms of congratulating them and the membership of the stock markets in Africa for the 30th anniversary. We do hope that ASEA continues to be our vibrant driver and partner as we chart new ways to grow our capital markets and, in particular, stock exchanges in Africa that are the backbone of our thriving economy and financial market. We do believe that this is the appropriate path. It is important for us to recognize that. It's important for us to make sure that we take steps in terms of consolidating that gain and making sure that we have a vibrant market, but also a market that is going to stand the test of time. Those were a few remarks from myself. And because we had His Excellency the President is having a strain of time, I take this honor, singular honor, to invite him to lead his speech and address this market. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much, Minister. Please, let's take our seats. Thank you very much. I don't know whether Keeper had actually, the chair had an iPad, and whether everybody seems to be blaming me for time. But it's really unfortunate that I won't be able to sit here. I would have really wanted to sit here and listen to you on this very important subject. But Minister and PS will sit in for me later, and the good man, Jeff, will also, I'm sure, will give me some notes on what you guys will have agreed on. As you are well aware, I am very passionate about the one big thing that is going to unlock the huge potential that exists in this continent, and that is integration, how we can work together. And I am very happy when I was told last evening about this occasion, despite the many other issues on my diary, I said I need to make a few minutes just to encourage you that what you're doing is the right thing. Integrating our stock exchanges, cross-listing, and using technology to bring down the barriers that exist and the limitations that are built in by other issues is a very positive thing for you to do. I just thought I should encourage you that on this journey of integrating institutions in our continent, you are not alone. We are with you 100% as leaders in this continent. And therefore, Mr. President, I'm happy that you have learned a few words in Kiswahili. However, I want to warn you that soliciting for any items in Kenya is against the law. So I know Jeff very well, and you have put in a very strong case for him. And certainly your words will not go unnoticed. I have noticed what you have said, and I agree. But it gives me great pleasure to once again join the capital market stakeholders across the continent at the 2023 African Securities Exchange Association Annual Conference. Today, we celebrate 30 years of association and collaboration between the different exchanges in our continent. Kenya is proud to have been among the founders of this great body, which has enhanced the level of knowledge share, cross-border trading, and relationships on the continent. We also meet to celebrate and focus our efforts on the future of financial markets in Africa, recognizing their potential to unlock capital and accelerate economic and business growth across our continent. Stock exchanges play a significant role in mobilizing domestic resources and international capital critical for Africa's economic renaissance. If well harnessed, stock exchanges can be the engine that transforms Africa into a global economic powerhouse and the financial center of the world. And I mean it. It is a reality. Over the last few years, African stock exchanges have seen considerable growth bolstered by reforms undertaken by various countries in different ways. These reforms, such as interest rates liberalization, removal of debt ceilings, enhancement of regulatory environment, as well as restructuring and privatization of state-owned enterprises, acted as a catalyst that saw growth in our markets over the last decade. These reforms notwithstanding, the changing macroeconomic dynamics have affected African stock exchanges, heavily weighing on their growth and impact. As we speak, Africa exchanges remain modest, and their contribution to economic development continues to be marginal. A majority of African stock exchanges face structural hurdles to growth, struggling with liquidity and considerable minimal participation by retail investors. The IPO landscape in Africa further confirms the challenges that our stock exchanges face. The pipeline for IPOs and further offerings in Africa has decreased significantly. With over 40 exchanges in the continent, we should be able to have at least 5 listings per day across the continent. And you know that's not the case. It is against this background that you meet to deliberate on how to solve legacy and emerging challenges facing stock exchanges and stock markets in the continent and explore opportunities to re-establish the competitive edge of public resource markets as an avenue for raising capital in Africa. We all understand that the global economy has changed. Markets have become very uncertain, and we therefore must work on enhancing the efficiency of the capital markets to make it much more resilient to market dynamics. On our part as government, we have taken various steps to revitalize the capital markets. 2 months ago, I did assent to the privatization bill, heralding a paradigm shift in the process of executing privatization of public enterprises by infusing international best practices and, more importantly, cutting off unnecessary bureaucracies that made the privatization process almost grind to a halt, where only one transaction was closed over the last 15 years. Just imagine that. And it was one of the big issues that I really wanted to sort out. And when I went to the stock exchange, I did promise them that the government of Kenya is going to list at the exchange more government entities. Unfortunately, the law became so convoluted that before even we could do that, we had to work on the law first. I'm very happy that we have settled the law, and now we have close to 35 companies, government companies, that some we will be selling outright, others we will be bringing to the stock exchange, and therefore I intend to keep my commitment to the stock exchange and make sure that we use the stock exchange to enable more Kenyans, more Africans, more private sector people to own part of our public entities. I am pleased to hear all the recent developments within the Africa markets facilitated by ASEA, including accelerating the growth and development of Africa's capital markets through various strategic initiatives aimed at creating unified and efficient capital markets across the African continent. ASEA has championed the digitization of African stock exchanges, promoting the use of technology to enhance trading, settlement, and market information dissemination. This digital transformation has significantly improved market accessibility and transparency. ASEA actively supports the issuance and trading of infrastructure and green bond assets that are critical in mobilizing capital for infrastructure development projects in African countries. ASEA has also developed the African Exchange Linkage Project, a trading infrastructure that aims to reconnect over 30 stockbrokers with the aim of promoting cross-border trading of securities among member exchanges, further enhancing market integration. In this ever-evolving world of finance, where our markets are the lifeblood of our economies, our role in shaping the future is profound. The African capital markets, as a collective entity, play a vital role in fostering economic growth, development, and regional integration. I wish to take this opportunity to reflect on some key themes that are of paramount importance in the realm of capital markets, particularly in the context of our continent. Number one is liquidity in our capital markets. Liquidity is the lifeblood of any thriving capital market, and you know that. It ensures that our investors have the confidence and flexibility to buy and sell securities with ease. It is essential for the efficient allocation of capital, which in turn drives economic growth. Liquidity not only attracts domestic investors, but also foreign investors looking for attractive investment opportunities. It is our collective responsibility, therefore, to ensure that our markets remain liquid, transparent, and efficient. The trends we see in today's capital markets indicate a growing demand for improved liquidity, driven by innovative trading platforms, more accessible market information, and the entrance of retail investors into the arena. Embracing these trends, therefore, can be a catalyst for further market development. The other item I want to talk about is cross-border listing. One of the most significant milestones in the African capital markets has been the emergence of cross-border listings. This not only increases the feasibility of our markets, but also facilitates access to a broader pool of investors. It is a testament to our growing integration and our ability to offer more diversified and appealing investment opportunities. As we build at the policy level the integration of African markets using the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, it is important that at that level you also build the integration of our capital markets. It enhances scale. It makes it possible for us to have a bigger pool of investors, bigger pool of resources, and it expands our opportunities across countries. It also enables us to learn from best practice in different countries. It is possible to pick best practice from different countries, as I said earlier, when we are in the same ecosystem. And therefore, ASEA must continuously play the role of pooling exchanges together so that we can pool resources, we can create bigger scale, and be able to even attract others globally. Cross-border listing represents a trend that speaks to the need for market integration, harmonized regulation, and interoperability between exchanges. As we move forward, it is imperative that we continue to foster collaboration across borders to make these listings more seamless and more attractive. I want to speak about the third thing, which is the benefits of capital markets to economies. Capital markets are a thriving force behind economic development. They provide business with the means to raise capital for expansion, for job creation, and even for innovation. Our entrepreneurs and innovators need the support and confidence that only a robust capital market can provide. As we look to the future, let us continue to work together to ensure that capital markets remain a catalyst for economic growth across our continent. The trends in this domain highlight the emergence of impact investing and the importance of financial inclusion. There is a growing recognition that our markets can be a force for good, not just in terms of returns, but in promoting social and economic well-being. This is an exciting shift in perspective, one that we should encourage and embrace. In other words, I'm saying what the capital markets will be doing is not just about the trading, it goes beyond trading numbers. It goes to the realm of enhancing development and social good and creating inclusivity. What a single person or a single company or a single country cannot achieve, we can achieve collectively. And that is what this brings. It brings a society coming together, creating financial inclusion, and making sure that everybody can tap into the good that exists within us. Of course, the final issue I want to have a conversation about is ESG, which is now common to all of us. We now know about environmental sustainability. We know about that we are beyond all these hard facts. We are social human beings. And to be able to move forward, people are continuously now interested in governance. How transparent are we? How accountable are we? Is what we are doing making impact? Or are these just cold numbers and statistics? Good governance is the foundation of any capital market. Strong corporate governance practices enhance investor confidence and protect the interests of all stakeholders, including the small ones. Furthermore, the growing importance of environmental, social, and governance factors cannot be overstated. These considerations are not only important for ethical reasons, but are becoming vital criteria for investment decisions. Let us continue to promote transparency, accountability, and responsible corporate citizenship across all markets. The trends in governance and ESG reflect a global shift towards more responsible investment practices. Investors, both institutional and individual, are increasingly conscious of the impact of their investments and what impact it has on people and globally. This trend presents an opportunity for African capital markets to position themselves as leaders in sustainable and responsible investing. Let me finally close with one item about climate financing. 2 days ago, I was addressing the EU Parliament on where fate has put us. And it is very interesting that fate has a way of equalizing fortunes. While Africa supported the industrialization of Europe, we gave them all the raw materials they needed, and we bought all the industrial products they manufactured. Now it is their turn. And I was telling them that there is something lawyers call quid pro quo. I don't know exactly what it means, but I know it means something to the extent that we should even out issues, right? So we now have an opportunity, and I want to persuade you, good people, that as leadership in this continent, and when I say leadership, I mean leadership at every level, it's now our turn to position ourselves appropriately. We must get away from the victim corner. We must now position ourselves to the opportunities that exist in the new economic setup. Today, we have assets as a continent, very important assets. We have 60% of the world's renewable energy resources. We have 40% of the world's critical mineral resources. We have 65% of the world's uncultivated arable land. We have the world's largest workforce. And more importantly, we have the world's largest natural resources. We cannot, therefore, position ourselves as a disparate continent with the kind of potential that we have. What we need to do is to position these assets appropriately and work with the rest of the world to even out issues. It is no longer possible to drive the world using fossil fuel resources. Renewable energy is the bullet this time around. And by God's grace, we have the largest resources in that area. And therefore, I was asking Europe, the same way we gave you our raw materials and bought your finished products, it is your turn to provide the capital, which we together developed, because our resources, our raw materials helped develop capital in Europe. And because of the opportunity Europe had to develop all this, they also developed technology using our raw materials, and we supported them by buying their products. So it is now time for them to bring the technology, which we together developed, and the capital, which we together developed, so that we can unlock the potential that exists in our continent and provide them with green products and provide them with an opportunity for us to create opportunities for employment in our own countries so that we avoid negative migration, people going as refugees and all manner of things. It is not something as Africans we are proud of. We're very proud people. We want to work at home. We want opportunities. All these young people in rickety boats going to Europe is because they are looking for opportunity. We can create those opportunities here at home, and that is what we want to do. And a stock exchange becomes a very important instrument of making sure that resources can be agile. We can make it much more easy for resources to flow from one place to another. In the face of a rapidly changing climate, it is our duty to channel resources towards sustainable and climate-resilient investment. Many people are wondering why we are pushing this agenda of climate change. It is because therein lies the opportunity for Africa. Thank God that fossil fuels brought a problem to the world so that we can look at the opportunities that exist in our continent. If there was no trouble with climate change, nobody would want to think about renewable energy. But now that we are all in trouble and nobody is safe, the North is not safe, the South is not safe, East is not anywhere away from this trouble, neither is the West. So we are all in one place. You know, this climate change has levelized all of us. There is no more developing versus developed. We are all facing climate change the same way. And so we have to find a solution together. And that is why we have said we are not going to continue the finger pointing. We don't want to blame game. We don't want North versus South. We must do this together as humanity. The capital markets can be a force of good in this regard by developing innovative financial products that support climate finance. We can contribute a greener, a more sustainable future using our stock exchanges. The time for action, good people, is now. And I urge all market participants to play their part in fostering climate-conscious investments. I want to repeat this. It is very important that you know the opportunity that exists in climate financing. There is a very big opportunity. You must leverage on it to grow our stock exchanges. The trend of climate financing is not just a moral imperative, but also an economic opportunity. As the world shifts towards more sustainable practices, investors and businesses will increasingly seek green investment opportunities. African capital markets have the potential to play a significant role in channeling funds into projects that combat climate change and promote environmental sustainability. If you didn't hear anything of my statement, please, just this paragraph is enough for you. You know, just see the opportunity therein. As we have this conversation globally, and that is why even we have the COP28, as we have this global conversation, know that the opportunity exists and you are at the intersection of that opportunity. As government, finally, we will do our part. In the context of all these trends, it is vital for governments to actively support the growth and development of capital markets. And as I told you in Kenya, I have promised the capital markets here that we will reorganize the law. The law gave us problems. We have now sorted out the law. We have identified the first 35 companies that we are going to offer to the private sector. We have close to another 100 that we are working with our financial advisors on what to do and what portions to let out. For example, we have very otherwise would be lucrative companies, but they are trapped in government bureaucracy, when the services they are offering can actually be better offered by the private sector. So we will make these opportunities available, and I want to tell our Kenyan private sector, the public, that opportunity is coming for them to be part of the cake that we have all baked as Kenyans by being part owners of some of our good companies or buying some of the companies that would better be run by the private sector and allow government to do what we must do. It is very instructive for me because I know very well that if we can unlock the potential in many of the companies, especially those that are trapped in government bureaucracy, allow them to flourish as private sector companies, they will employ more people, they will generate more resources, and they will pay more taxes. Yeah, I know that's a very important subject in Kenya nowadays. Governments can play, as I said, a crucial role by implementing favorable policies, regulatory frameworks, and infrastructure to facilitate the expansion and integration of our markets. Initiatives such as tax incentives, simplified regulation processes, and fostering financial literacy can significantly contribute to market growth. I would want to know from the Kenyan markets players what additionally they want us to do as government so that we can make it easier for them, agile, flexible, for them to do more in our capital markets. Furthermore, partnerships between governments and market participants, including exchanges and regulators, can lead to more effective market development. Supportive regulatory frameworks, investor protection, and innovative financing mechanisms are also essential for the sustainability of our capital markets. As we discussed today, vital themes and unlocking Africa's stock exchange potential for sustainable economic development, I encourage all stakeholders in our capital markets to collaborate, innovate, and adhere to the highest standards of ethics and responsibility. Our future, ladies and gentlemen, and the prosperity of our great continent depends on the health and vitality of our markets. Today, I have recognized 10 companies joining the unquoted security market segments of NSE, Nairobi Stock Exchange, also, or Nairobi Security Exchange, as I was told, also known as Soko Rahisi. This is a key development for the country, noting that the growth of our economies will be funded by these segments of our economy, with the MSME sector comprising 80% of our formal economy. My government will continue to support this key sector. I want to encourage companies to tap into the capital markets to power the growth of their companies and also our economy. In conclusion, let me express my utmost confidence in the future of African capital markets. With our collective determination and the dedication of all those present here today, we can build markets that are transparent, efficient, and impactful, capable of driving economic growth and fostering sustainable development. I wish you all a successful and productive conference, and I look forward to witnessing the positive change and progress that will undoubtedly emerge from the exchanges and discussions that will take place here. Thank you very much, and may our capital markets continue to be the engines of growth and prosperity for Africa. Unfortunately, I won't be here to take part in the round tables here and the other exchanges, but I look forward to another opportunity to engage with you. My very best wishes. Welcome to Kenya. Enjoy your time here, and please give us some positive results. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Your Excellency, sir, as you make your way down stage. Your Excellency, sir, we would like to invite you to witness a live trading. This way, sir. We'd love to invite you to witness a live cross-border trade between Dyer and Blair and BVRM. BVRM is an integrated stock exchange common to 8 West African countries. And Lina Tonui, who is the Africa Project Linkages Manager, will take you through it. You may please have your seats. The trade will be broadcasted on the screens in front of you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You did speak about the African Exchanges Linkage Project, and we are glad to inform you that we have interconnected 7 exchanges to a trading... Hello? Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, as you mentioned, the African Exchanges Linkage Project, which is a key initiative of the African Securities Exchanges Association and the Africa Development Bank, we are pleased to walk you through a live trade. So this is the terminal. It's called the AELP Link. And on this terminal, the brokers who are participating in the project, we currently have 35 broker members from 7 exchanges that are interconnected, but we have a total of 9 exchanges that are participating in the project. So brokers from the different markets are able to see all the exchanges. They can, choose a different market and then place a trade. So today, Your Excellency, we are working with Diane Blair in Nairobi, who will receive a trade and place a trade from the BRVM market. And we're very honored to have all the members here. But then BRVM will be joining us online if we're not able to broadcast them at this point, but then they have already placed a trade. So Peter will show us the trade that has come in from them. So the broker from whichever market places a trade, and now it has come into the Kenyan market. So Peter will accept the trade. Peter, you may go ahead. It has been staged.
Okay, Your Excellency, this is the AELP platform. We have received an order to buy 2,000 Safaricom shares from FGI in Cote d'Ivoire. So the order has come in. It appears as staged. So all we need to do from our end is accept the trade. So I'll just go ahead to accept the trade. It says, do you want to approve the order to buy 2,000 Safaricom shares for that client? Then we'll say yes. So the order has been accepted. So once we refresh, it shows that the status is now accepted. So the order has come to our market. So all I'll need to do from my end is push the order from DFN, from the ALP platform, to our market live in Nairobi, which is already open. So I'll proceed to create the order. It's 2,000 shares, placing at a price of 13.70 for Safaricom. Then we'll proceed to buy. Once we click on buy, the order goes through. So I'll just click buy and confirm the order. As you can see, the status has now changed from accepted to filled. So now the client from BRVM has 2,000 shares of Safaricom.
Your Excellency, thank you. We request you to ring the bell at this stage, and I want to request the President of ASEA, the Chairman of the Capital Markets, the Chairman of the NSE, and Geoffrey as well, our NSE CEO, and the Cabinet Secretary as well. Please join the President in ringing the bell as we have this session of marking the 30 years of ASEA as you ring that bell. Your Excellency, because as you said, you confirmed this at the last minute, I'm going to just do a count, and that will, then you will ring it in. In 3, 2, 1, please, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. This marks the 30 years of ASEA. We're going to have a quick photo session right there. I will start with that photo the way it is.